Howdy folks, the Kaiju Cowboy here with a giant monster movie review. Today we're jumping into Legendary's Monsterverse with the 2014 release, Godzilla. Released in May of 2014, Godzilla is Godzilla's first headlining film since the 2004 release of Godzilla Final Wars in Japan. The film stars Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ken Watanabe, Elizabeth Olsen, and Bryan Cranston. Aaron Taylor Johnson plays Lieutenant Ford Brody, who lost his mother 15 years previously at an accident in a nuclear plant that his father and mother worked at. His father Joe, played by Bryan Cranston, who gives a great performance, vows to solve the mystery behind his wife's death and thinks it's something else other than just a natural disaster.
Don't you see that? And it is going to send us back to the Stone Age.
Ken Watanabe plays Dr. Ishiro Serizawa, who tells the Brodys that there is indeed something else going on as they witness giant monsters finally walking the earth once again. These giant monsters known as MUTOs are looking for nuclear power sources to help them reproduce and feed their offspring. But there's something else out there in the depths. A creature that senses the very world's destruction at hand at the hands of the MUTOs. Godzilla.
We call him Godzilla.
To a lot of people's surprise, the 2014 US reboot shows Godzilla being a hero again. Like the Showa-era films of the past, Godzilla's got giant monsters to fight in order to save the Earth. Directing the film is Gareth Edwards, whose only feature-length film prior to this was the 2010 release of Monsters, another giant monster genre movie. Despite Edwards' lack of experience, he brings a fresh vision to the franchise, while still paying tribute to the monster's glorious past. One of the film's best aspects is the framing and composition of every shot. A lot of the shots are framed from the ground shooting up, and you really feel the scale of these monsters as they stomp around and destroy buildings left and right. While a lot of people complain that there's not a lot of Godzilla in a film called Godzilla, Edwards makes sure that the title character's presence is felt with every revealed building on the anticipation of our last glimpse of the giant monster. By the end of the film, you can't help to feel teased a little bit with every little glimpse of Godzilla you get. But hey, when those trademark moments we're all familiar with happen, Edwards makes sure they feel as epic as they look on the big screen. One of my favorite scenes in this film is the Halo jump, which I know is a lot of people's favorite scenes. Just the whole scale as these soldiers pierce through the clouds to see the destruction and the fight below them. It just sets you on edge and prepares you for the climax of the film. Another one of my favorite moments in the film is the first time Godzilla uses his trademark atomic breath. Ford is struggling to survive and fight as the world crumbles around him into smoke and debris. And then out of the shadow and the smoke, a blue light pierces through the dark. And it builds, and then it builds, and then we see it in all of its gloriousness. Godzilla's ultimate power. And while that first appearance of his atomic breath is great, Gareth Edwards does a great job building on that anticipation and making every use of that power better than the last. Alexandre Desplat does a great job with an original score for a Godzilla film, but one thing we are missing is that classic motif from the original Godzilla. With that being said, the score is still great, it just could have used a little bit more spice. When it comes to the human side of this giant monster movie, there's one thing that this film really misses during the last half of the film. And that's after Bryan Cranston's character Joe is killed off about 40 minutes into the movie. You really miss his presence and performance at that point. Now, it probably could have helped if there was a little bit more Godzilla scenes to pick up after Joe leaves us. I can see why Cranston was removed from the film to give Godzilla more of a big stage in the last half of the film, but there could have been a little bit more Godzilla to pick up after Cranston leaves the film. For the first half of the movie, it really is a Bryan Cranston-led performance.
Something killed my wife. And I have a right to know.
In the last half of the movie, it's all Godzilla leading the way. But there is about a 20 to 30 minute gap in there where you're missing out on Cranston's character and you're missing out on seeing a lot of Godzilla that I think a little bit more Godzilla or a little bit more Cranston could have filled that gap in the middle to make people a little bit more satisfied. With that said, I don't think Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance is given enough credit. The film does a great job building up Ford Brody's character and showing just how much he suffered throughout his life to bottle everything up as a soldier. I'm sure a lot of you know soldiers out there. They're tough sons of bitches, right? And when the ish is hitting the fan, you expect them to perform. And Lieutenant Brody does just that. Taylor Johnson has his moments where you can see those emotions coming to the surface, and at the same time, you see Godzilla's emotions coming back at him. That's one of my favorite aspects of the film is Brody's character mirroring with Godzilla's character, and they both are fighting the same fight. And you can feel that Brody's path to this moment in his life isn't too much different than Godzilla's, as they have a moment late in the film together. And that brings us to the monsters. Once again, Godzilla is playing Earth's hero. He has to save the day, and he's got two monsters he's got to take down.
Let them fight.
The MUTOs, a male and a female, are looking to reproduce, and they're using nuclear waste as their food for their future babies. These monsters are like giant insects. The male can fly, the female is cumbersome and big, and she's got a belly of eggs ready to lay. While these monsters are original creations for the legendary franchise, there is a hint of Mothra in them to me, especially the flying one. While we could have used a little bit more Godzilla in this film, there is plenty of MUTO to go around. In fact, they have a lot more screen time than Godzilla, who's only in the film for about 10 minutes. While the MUTOs have a lot of great action scenes, there's about 15 minutes of their combined giant monster action. One thing I do like about the monster action in this film, when I was first sitting in the seats of the theater and we're waiting for that first Godzilla moment and the first MUTO hatches from its cocoon, you're like, wait, what's going on here? I know a lot of people are probably thinking, is this Godzilla? Is he birthing? Is Godzilla coming out of this cocoon? No, it's the monster Godzilla needs to fight to save the Earth. I think that twist, while we're waiting for something big to come out of that moment, we're all horrified that it's a giant monster and it's going to terrorize humans across the globe.
Hold your fire!
Now, when it comes to grading films here at the Kaiju Cowboy Ranch, there's one way we grade them, and that's with how much firepower they have out of a 6-shooter. So how many bullets does this film shoot? 4 bullets out of a 6-shooter. Godzilla 2014 is a beautiful film with skillfully framed shots, great giant monster action, and heartfelt performances by the human cast. While the teasing of Godzilla might be a little bit too much for us and leave us wanting more, hey, that's what sequels are for. When it all comes down to it, this Godzilla is a satisfying, fun adventure for fans new and old. And whether you were a longtime fan just waiting for Godzilla to get back on the screen, or you're just jumping into the giant monster genre, this is a great launching point for a new universe, as well as a great chapter into the franchise of the true King of the Monsters. That does it for this giant monster movie review. Let me know what you thought of my review down in the comments below. Also, where do you grade Godzilla 2014? And what's your favorite part of this movie? Were the teases of Godzilla too much? And what did you think of the MUTOs? They're an original monster for the legendary monsterverse. Did you like their design? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends. Everybody likes giant monsters, right? Let them know about the Kaiju Cowboy. Until next time, remember folks, don't drink downstream from the herd.